Sometime later, my card game is interrupted by a knock at the door. Oh, hello. Opening it, I find a young woman in the livery of a page. Young, yes, younger than myself if I am any guess, but old for such a rank, 14 being the usual age in a Cinderweir. You're summoned to the upper servants' dinner, miss. I'll escort you, yes? I can find my own way. You maybe could, but as is my job, I'll walk with you. Fine. No doubt she's dawdling with me in order to avoid some more onerous duty. I can't blame her. I've played the same game myself. That's a pretty thing you're wearing. My hand flies by instinct to cover the amber stone. I force myself to relax. Thank you. Mind your toes at dinner, miss. That Sophie's folk are here, and they're hard people. Sophie? The Duchess Sophia, only she's not here on account of she just had a baby, you see. But she's cousin to the princess, so she had to send her people, and they complain about everything. You'll see. And her husband, the Duke? Duke Farad? He's at the ball, of course. Oh, of course. And if I were to wish to catch a glimpse of such an illustrious personage? Such a what? Oh, you want to spy on the ball? Shh, keep your voice down. Easiest way is through the servants' door in the second morning hall. You turn left and go up a half stair to the viewing passage. Different way is better if you want to get in fast when someone calls you, but just for looking, that's the best. Thank you. Who is this person? So helpful. Her language skills may be unpolished, but she does know her way around. She might even be a useful source of information during our stay here. Have you heard any interesting stories lately? Always stories with so many guests, miss. There's a gentleman's son throwing coals because some other fellows wearing the same tailoring. Oh no, how dare you wear the same outfit as me? And I heard it from the boot boy that one of them has to be sent home in disgrace for planning to cause a scene at the ball. They were going to have a fight about clothes? It's very important. Oh no, it wasn't those. This was a young lady who'd heard the story about the princess dying at the play. Well, it's a sour bite to say it, but there's rumors sometimes. What rumors? That the little princess went the same way as her brother Caspian, and the one we've got now is an imposter. Anyone who's ever seen the princess and the king's wisdom together knows better. Some little miss who hadn't was planning to make a name for herself, till her lord father who had got wind of it. Imagine that, standing plain as you please, telling all the lady whatevers they're cuckoos and not ladies at all. Oh, I think telling all the lady whatevers they're cuckoos and not ladies at all. Cuckoos? You turn the whole country upside down. I shudder at the thought. Ooh. But there's no truth to it? Not to that, no, but I'd like to see it anyway. What sort of person would want to see a woman told that her parents aren't her parents? I don't know. Even if your family no longer cares about you, even if you've never missed them, they're what made you. To have that taken away, and in public, for everyone to see your humiliation? How could anyone want that? Such a common, mean-spirited girl might make a useful informant, but I certainly could never trust her with anything. Begging your pardon, miss, but we're there now. Have a nice meal. I hadn't even realized we'd been moving. I thought we were just chatting away in the hallway here. Okay. Thank you. She leaves me to enter the dining room. As a lower servant, her own supper will not be for some time yet. I see. And so, I join the others of my rank, the confidants and supporters of the noble elite. It is not difficult to identify the footmen of Duke Farad. Despite their position, they are a mismatched pair in clothing so plain that it barely merits the title of uniform. They sit in silence and stare at the palace servants, who give them a wide berth. It would appear there is some long-standing disagreement in Guelenor between the royal family and this Duke and Duchess, one that extends even to the servant ranks. The attendants of the other guests are far more sociable, even Prince Gaston's shy little maid. Oh, don't I get pictures of these people? We are all made welcome to the table and the generous helpings of well-prepared food, much of which is still warm. Accompanying our meal is a pale and delicate sherry of a variety which does not keep well once the bottles have been breached. Thus, we are encouraged to drain it dry. Well, thank you. Don't mind if I do. I myself partake only moderately, but Prince Nazagi's chief valet appears to be half fish by the way he drinks. At the conclusion of the meal, we are treated to pastries and tiger nut milk, and all assembled are duly awed by the royal largesse. I hope that's how you say that. Whatever that is. Afterwards, the proper thing to do is return to our rooms to await my master. What I intend to do, of course, is something less than proper. To find the viewing chamber that the page mentioned, and cast my eyes over the festivities. Ooh, we're gonna be a spy. Guarding Oscar from hidden dangers is another facet of my role, whether those dangers be a sword in a dark alley, or a social schemer out to trip him up. Anything could happen to him if I'm not there to watch. He's fine. Stop babying him. I'm sure everything is fine. Thank you. Oscar has never had any difficulties with dancing lessons. Still, he might make little mistakes, and it would fall to me to discover those faults and train them out. He is, after all, a prize stallion of a sort. Shaking my head slightly at the image of Oscar as a fearsome warhorse, I slip into the servants' passages. Oh dear. It's dark back here. It is clear that these unfinished corridors are not intended for the eyes of those above the salt. Even in the dim lighting, the exposed surfaces are a rough contrast to the splendor elsewhere. Dark, yes, but not very dusty. Either someone is assigned to clean even these unseen areas, or this location gets far more use than I'd expect. Perhaps there are always dances. Or perhaps there are so few that this passage makes the ideal rendezvous point for more private pursuits. There, a peephole. The crush of music and laughter is already clear. Moving closer, I can see wigs and ball gowns below. Oscar must be out there somewhere, but it may take a few minutes to pick him out. I hear footsteps approaching, and at first think nothing of it. Uh-oh. There are any number of servants in this palace, after all. But that is not a servant. Oh. Oh boy. My lord? Voice. What should I do for Prince Callum? You. Who are you? Madeleine Valois, my lord. Valet to Ascendaware. What is he doing here? He's a prince. He should be dancing with the nobles assembled below. Could the man be, of all things, lost in his own palace? I don't think so. I think he's spying on some people too. Do you need something, my lord? Nothing you could provide for me. The poisonous edge to his dismissal makes me wonder what exactly he thought I was offering. Excuse me? As I have failed to respond, he presses on. Are you on some errand? My time is my own at the moment, my lord. Then why are you here? What is the world coming to when a servant cannot have privacy from her betters even in the back halls? It is his castle. It is a complete breach of decorum for him to set foot here at all. He shouldn't be challenging me about it. Yeah, but it's his castle. Inarguably rude though his question is, he is a member of the royal family, and I am a guest in his home. Yeah? I am observing, my lord. Like the little cinder girl, watching and dreaming of what she can never have. I beg your pardon? Guest or not, that was just too far. No desire to be a princess? But then, you must be a noblewoman's daughter in your own land. Younger daughter. And if misfortune favors the succession, it would fall to you. Better that than a younger son, the one left over when everyone tires of matchmaking. Oh. I wonder who he could be talking about. We can't choose how we're born, one would think. Anyway, my lord, you might be a king one day. That's not an option for me. Indeed. I suppose I shouldn't have said that much, but something about the man gets under my skin. So, if not envy and not an errand, what's your game? I am keeping watch over my prince, as is my responsibility. At least I was, before you began interrogating me for no reason. His only answer is a snort, before he leans forward to place his own eye to one of the peepholes overlooking the ballroom. Well, dutiful spy, it seems you have nothing to worry about. There may even be wedding bells in his future. What? No, wait, he's my guy. I plastered myself to the wall and frantically scanned the dancers below. Oh, a picture. Aw, that's sweet. There he is. Oscar, his hair glittering in the light of the chandeliers, and a young woman in his arms. Princess Cassidy! She's smiling at him. They look happy. Of course they look happy. They're royalty. They've been trained to be dazzlingly polite in all circumstances. Right? She'll dance with all of her suitors. That's why they're here. It's nothing. She places her hand in his, tilts her head. Ha 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 ha! She laughs, and his eyes answer. They walk together towards the edge of the dance floor, strolling like lovers. Oh no. What if I was wrong? What if they're a perfect match? I think I'm starting to get a bit paranoid. If she chose him, Oscar would not hesitate to do his duty, regardless of any childish infatuations. Even the letter, he knew as he wrote it that it meant nothing. He so much as said that confessing gave him closure. It allowed him to put it all behind him, never to be mentioned again. There are no obstacles in his path. If she chose him, here and now, that would be that. He would leave, and I would be... Dots. I stepped back from the sight, intending to make my apologies to Prince Callum, but he's nowhere to be seen. He must have left while I was distracted. I shouldn't have come up here. I expected to see Oscar bumbling innocently along like the little boy he was when we met. I wanted to reassure myself that nothing had changed, that I was in control, older and wiser like always. I was not ready to face the idea that he might not need me anymore. You better get used to it, girl. You're worse than Grabner, you're treating him like a little child again. Tisk tisk. I returned to our rooms, too distracted to choose an adventurous route. How could he do this to me? Of course he could do this. That's why we came here. But he only this evening sent me that letter. But who knows when he wrote it? Before he met her, certainly. Days, weeks ago it could have been. Old news. This is terrible. I have no right to feel betrayed. I told him dozens of times that we are nothing but friends. It's only natural for him to respond to a pleasant young princess who might be interested in him. I must stay calm. Don't freak out. In all likelihood, this will come to nothing. The princess is a sheltered young woman, enjoying the attentions being paid to her, but she's also an heiress who has been raised to her responsibilities. Perhaps Cassidy and Oscar might come to an understanding in time, but her family would insist that she meet others first. Even if they were swept away by some mad passion and declared an engagement on the spot, which would be an incredible scandal, it would take months to organize a formal wedding. Disaster is not imminent. I have to believe that. I have to. Still, one thing is clear to me. I have been too complacent. I have not planned ahead. Sooner or later, I will lose my position with Oscar, and I need to think about what to do next. I don't like it, but not liking something doesn't stop it from happening. I have to face this. There are no other princes in Ascendaware, but there is no shortage of young men. If I am credited with polishing Oscar for a prestigious match, mothers may want to entrust their sons to me, or even younger children. I've had enough education to pass for a tutor if I must. Such a role would give me a new home and security for a time at least. There are benefits to having worked within the palace for so many years. Someone may wish to employ me on the basis of what and whom I know. And then there are my other skills, although I would prefer not to rely on them. One who lives by the blade tends to die by it as well. Oh, she's talking about being hired as an assassin? No, never. Not that, and not returning to my family's hearth. Better to starve with dignity. I can't believe it could come to that. How could I have let this happen? I knew my life with Oscar couldn't last. I told myself that I was being the wise one, that I was focusing on what was most important and not letting myself be distracted. Apparently, wisdom and blindness looked so similar that I couldn't tell the difference. No, I will not panic. Everything will be all right. I have time. Once we are in our own country again, I will set aside my wages. I will work harder at being sociable and making connections within the court. It's never too late to make a good beginning. Perhaps, if Oscar marries well, their majesties will see fit to reward me. I am an adult now, and I have earned their trust. They might have a new position in mind. With royal support and a higher pay rate, I would be able to make a home for myself. And then with security and a place of my own, I could consider personal matters. Love, a family, all the things I can't have now. A real future at last. Oscar marrying Cassidy could be the best thing that ever happens to me. But even I wouldn't believe myself if I claimed I would not miss him. I am drawn from my contemplations by a strange sound. Or perhaps an absence of sound, I'm not entirely sure. It wasn't something that I registered on a conscious level, but I have been trained to respond to changes in my surroundings. Something is wrong. Because the music stopped. What's going on? I rise and walk to stand beside the door on the opposite side from the direction that it opens. If someone or something bursts through that door, I would rather not be struck in the face. Sounds good. Oh boy. There's a rumble in the distance, a hubbub that can't be silenced by solid walls and thick carpeting, and it's growing. Hello? Heavy footsteps, the clash of metal, a fist hammering on the door. That was a very polite hammer. Open up in the name of the king. What's going on? The princess has been kidnapped by your master. What? Yes. What? Oh, Oscar, what have you done? Ooh. We got an opening. Awesome. Oh. There he is, Oscar. Callum of Wellenor. Oh. Oh, that's cute. Cassidy of Wellenor. Aww. Nozagi of Azina. Oh my goodness. Gaston. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, and that's us. Madeleine Valois. Woo! Awesome song. That was a neat little intro. Alright, Chapter 1, The Investigation. Now again, the presentation hall is filled with guests and guards, more than before and far less friendly. I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. It was dark. Oscar has not, in fact, eloped with the princess in a fit of madness. He is here, bruised, dirtied, scratched, and alone. According to the guards, he was discovered lying senseless under a rose bush. Of Cassidy, there was no sign. What voice? You spirited her into the gardens and out of sight, my little baby. It was her idea. I don't know what voice to do for you. Pull yourself together, boy, and speak respectfully. That is Duke Farad that is liked because of his voice. And on first impressions, I cannot say that I am fond of him either. He is a pale man whose lips draw together in a pinched expression. His clothing, though well tailored, is too somber for the festive occasion that this anniversary was meant to be, and his voice snaps like the switch ill-bred gentlemen wield on their servants. Oscar looks back at the Duke, his lip curling slightly. Then with a small shake of his head, he draws himself to his full height. Her Highness wished to show me the alba roses in the moonlight. She told me that the garden was enclosed on all sides. There did not seem to be any danger. You were not satisfied with monopolizing the princess's public attentions. You wished to press your suit in the shadows. I would never press her into anything. We were looking at the flowers and talking, nothing more. Then I felt a pain in my head. I tried to turn and something wrapped around my neck. That's all I know. Like any prince, Oscar has been trained in the arts of war, but in his case it is more of an art than a practical defense. He is passable with a sword in the context of a formal duel. With a firearm, he can strike a close-range target so long as neither he nor it is moving. A dishonorable opponent in hand-to-hand could take him down easily. I didn't hurt Cassidy, and I don't know where she is. Please, don't waste time asking me questions. We have to find her. It is terribly convenient that you were alone, in the dark, out of sight. How fortunate for you that you were completely unharmed by this mysterious assault. What? And, of course, when only you are able to find and rescue her, you will claim her hand as your reward. Are you saying that I made all this up? That's mad! They're turning on him. I have to do something. Your Majesties, may I speak? Go ahead! I just don't know where these voices are coming from. I make no apologies. Just go with it. Just go with it, guys. Everyone here has weird voices. Everyone who saw them knew that Oscar and Cassidy were pleased with each other. Surely, of all the princes, he would be the least likely to try such a thing. Are you accusing us of petty jealousy? Of course not, my lord. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. That would be a quick way to make an enemy. I have to be careful what I say. If someone did scheme to kidnap the princess in order to force her into marriage, it probably wouldn't be a man who had a good chance of winning her without it. The benefit would not be worth the risk. A clever way to avoid suspicion. If there's a plot, then someone has something to gain, something that's worth risking their life to get it. So who benefits? All of a sudden, the king's wisdom goes pale, clutching at her husband's arm for support. I cannot guess what thought has occurred to her, but I must press forward my point while I can. As my lord has suggested, I believe that it is important to locate her enlightened highness as soon as possible, before whoever is behind this has a chance to cause further mischief. Naturally, I cannot tell a king what he must, or even should, do, but I am a noblewoman's daughter, even if a low-ranked one. It is not improper to make a suggestion, particularly when the credit is placed upon worthier lips. Indeed. Oh god, that was Oscar's voice. Indeed. His gaze sweeps the room. You will all be escorted to your rooms under guard. I have done nothing! I will not be treated! You are being treated like an honored guest. Your chambers will remain private, and you will remain within them. All of you, including you, Farad. Your Majesty, I assure you. I want to help with the search. Be quiet, both of you. As far as I am concerned, you are the prime suspects. You will return to your rooms and stay there, and pray that my daughter is found unharmed. Oh, Oscar, you never did learn when it was best to avoid being noticed. As if he's heard my thoughts, he turns to look at me. Oh, what's that smile for? When his eyes fall upon the amber stone at my neck, a tiny smile warms his face. Uh-oh. Not now. And then the guards come for us both. This is bad. Very bad. If the princess isn't found quickly and word leaks out, all of Gwelinor will be in chaos. If she has been kidnapped with the intention of forcing her into marriage, or worse, killed, there hasn't been a true war between civilized lands in a century. The repercussions could bring destruction beyond imagining, and if the blame for such a disaster were placed on Oscar, his family might well give him up rather than risk open war on his behalf. Even if the matter is resolved peacefully, the scandal could ruin him. It goes without saying that my own fate in such a circumstance would be far worse. Cassidy must be found as soon as possible. Oh boy. The guards escort us to our rooms, but true to the king's word, they do not follow us inside. Within these walls, it would seem, our territory is still sovereign. Of course, I don't intend to remain within that protection. I can't rely on the local palace guard to solve this mystery, not with so much at stake. Therefore, once the door is closed, I begin changing my gloves and shoes into something more appropriate, or at least more suitable for getting around unobserved. Oh? You're going out, aren't you? Don't worry, everything will be alright. Wait, don't go yet. Can we talk? Please? The look in his eyes is hard to face. Between the letter and the dance and the attack, he must be feeling torn to pieces. I know he's upset, but the fact remains that every minute now could make the difference. No, we have to comfort him. We can't just leave him in this state. That's terrible. Alright. But not for long. Maybe it's wrong, but I can't leave him like this. He needs me, and I need him to be okay. Are you alright? I'm fine. It's only bruises. I should have fought harder, or made more noise, I suppose. It all happened so fast. Why didn't Cassidy help you? I don't think she can fight. Well... now we come to it. The romance. I can see it in his smile. I take a seat and school my face to hide any hint of reaction. I must not appear jealous. Go on, tell me about her. She's very sweet, attentive. She's not like my sisters at all. She was so easy to talk to. We'd keep thinking of new things to say, and... she doesn't think I'm stupid. You're not stupid. He laughs and shakes his head. I think we all are sometimes. But with her, I wasn't afraid of making a mistake. She told me about Caspian, how he died so young. Do you know they wouldn't even let her play with her own brothers after that? They were so afraid of her falling ill, they never let her have friends. She said she hoped the two of us would be very good friends. I wanted that. Friends? You mean you two weren't planning the wedding? Oh gosh, Madeleine. What? Well, I liked her, but don't you think that would be a bit... sudden? Of course it would. All that worry for nothing. Ah, you. And now we've got far worse to worry about. I just feel awful. She was so nice, and I wanted to make her happy, and I let her down. You said earlier that it was Cassidy's idea to go into the gardens, right? Sure. I didn't even know there was a garden out there until she pointed it out. It was too dark to see it through the glass. And how did the guards know to find you? I'm not sure. I think they came looking for us because we'd been out of sight too long. So she lured you into the dark, and she didn't scream for help when you were attacked. What are you suggesting? I don't know. It's just that, well, if you say she had no freedom and no friends... I remember living like that, and I at least did have my own sister as a companion. I was still allowed to travel. How much worse to be a prisoner in your own palace? Even a perfect princess would break eventually. She might have organized a plan to get away from her minders for a while. I doubt we'll find her in the cellar with the sweets, but she might have run on her own. I did. Of course, I would have run, but I would not have gotten someone like Oscar hurt in the process. That's wonderful. What? Well, that means she's alright, right? If it was really her idea, and if her fellow conspirators don't betray her, and if she doesn't manage to get herself hurt during her adventure. Oh. That's why I have to go and find her. Yes, right. Be careful. I grasp his shoulder and give it a little shake. Everything will be alright. And now it will be a simple matter to slip out unseen. Out of a window, that is. The special gloves I'm wearing are designed for gripping surfaces when climbing. They're very useful. I'll go out our window and back in through the next one down. From there, I'll be able to reach the main hallways, and any guards outside our room won't see a thing. I just realized that this is like very Mission Impossible music. That's awesome. Most of the palace staff must be busy with the search. They may not have even bothered to keep our door under watch, but I would rather not run the risk of drawing more suspicion.